So we are going to apply quotient rule of differentiation sa mga given natin trigonometric function. So let's have a recall for a moment. So originally, if your f of x is the numerator and g of x is the denominator, and you are asked to get the derivative of f of x all over g of x, then the formula is g of x times the derivative of f of x minus f of x times the derivative of g of x all over the square of g of x. Yun yung original formula niya. Or, let's just make it creative. Okay? Since sa product rule, gumamit tayo ng letter U at letter V, so we can use letter U and letter V in this case. So, in here, your U is the numerator. Si V, siyang nasa denominator. So, ang derivative ng U all over V ay magiging V du minus U dV all over V squared. Ganito ang mangyayari. Okay, this would be the scenario if we use U and letter V, wherein your U is the numerator and your V is the denominator. But what if we interchange the position? What if we pick V as the numerator and your U as the numerator? Okay? So, if that's the case, ganito mangyayari sa kanya. The derivative of V all over U is equal to U dV minus V du all over the square of U. Ganito ang magiging formula niya. So, ibig sabihin nun, unlike sa, if you're going to recall sa sinabi ko, unlike sa product rule, kailangan mo talaga piliin kung saan si U at saka saan si V. Okay, kasi magkakaiba to ng formula. So, if you pick U as your numerator and your V as your denominator, then ganito magiging formula mo. Pero kung ayaw mo si U na sa numerator, instead, ilagay mo siya sa denominator, at saka si V, nilagay mo siya sa numerator, then itong gagamitin mo formula. See, they are different. Not unlike sa product rule, you can pick which one is your U, which one is your V. Nothing changes. So to avoid confusion, let's just use this formula, the last one, which I highly recommend. Okay? Since numerator is at the top and denominator is at the bottom or bot, therefore, we can just use this format na lang. Mas madali pa. So, ang derivative ng top all over bottom is equal to bottom or bot times the derivative of top or d top minus top times the derivative or bot or d bot all over the square of bot. Okay? Bot is basically short for bottom. So basically, bot d top minus top d bot all over the square of bot. It sounds funny, but I highly recommend this one. All right? Top all over bottom. Okay? But I make it bot in short. Okay? So now, let's apply the quotient rule in our given example. So, we have this one. The derivative of sine x all over cosine x. Actually, this one, it's not necessary to use quotient rule dito kasi alam nyo na kung anong gagawin nyo rito. Okay? Why? Remember that sine x all over cosine x. This is the same as what? Tangent x, di ba? So therefore, we can rewrite sine x all over cosine x as tangent x. Okay? So, what will be the derivative of tangent x? The answer is secant squared x, right? Okay. Now, let's try to use this expression instead. Instead of converting this one to tangent x, why not let's use this one? Okay? And since naka-fraction type siya, so we can use quotient rule of differentiation. Okay? So, let's now apply the quotient rule. So, syempre, yung nasa taas or nasa top, siya si sin x. Then, sa bottom or bot, siya si cosine x. So, now, let's get the derivative of top. Okay? So, ang derivative ng sin x, if you recall, this is cosine x. Next, kunin mo yung derivative ng bottom or bot, which is cosine x. So, derivative ng cosine x ay negative sin x. Now, let's substitute the formula. So, we have, once again, bot d top minus top d bot. There you go. All over the square of bot. Okay. So, let's begin. Your bot is basically your cosine x times the derivative of top or d top is cosine x minus top, wait lang, ayusin ko lang to. Yeah, minus top, which is basically your sin x times d bot or derivative ng bottom, this is negative sin x. Okay, all over the square ng bottom, which is square ng cosine x. Now, let's simplify. Cosine x times cosine x, we will have cosine squared x. So, minus sin x times negative sin x. So, it seems like we are multiplying to negative sin x. So, negative sin x times negative sin x, we will have positive sine squared x all over the square of cosine x or cosine squared of x. That's it. Now, we can still simplify this one. Yes, this could be your final answer. Pwede na to, pero pwede pa natin siyang simplify. Sorry. Recall natin, ang sum ng square of sine at square ng cosine or cosine squared of x ay 1. Meaning, sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x is equal to 1. Or kahit i-interchange mo ang position nila, it's still the same. Cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1. Magkapares sila. So therefore, we can substitute the sum of this cosine squared x and sine squared x as 1. So we will have 1 all over cosine squared x. Okay? So this could be your final answer. Or, pwede pa natin siyang i-simplify pa. Recall that 1 all over cosine x is equal to secant x. So, if we have 1 all over cosine squared x, then the answer would be secant squared x. Therefore, 1 all over cosine squared x is secant squared x. And that will be my final answer. Okay? So, that's it. Okay? That is actually our final answer. Okay na? So, ulitin ko 1 all over cosine x is the same as secant x. So, kapag nakasquare si cosine, ibig sabihin nun, nakasquare din si secant. So, therefore, 1 all over cosine squared x is the same as secant squared x. So, we have this one. The derivative of cosecant x all over secant x. Yan. That's it. So, as always, we can use quotient rule of differentiation towards this one. So, before that, I can actually simplify this one. Okay? Pero, bago yan, try natin itong i-solve natin to. Okay? So, your top will be your cosecant x. And the bottom, we have secant x, diba? Now, kunin natin yung derivative ng top. So, ang derivative ng top, which is derivative ng cosecant x, in other words, is negative cosecant x times cotangent x. Now, kunin natin derivative ng bottom, or dbot, in other words. So, kunin natin derivative ng secant x. So, we will have the derivative ng secant x, which is secant x times tangent x. Okay na. Now, let's try to substitute it in this formula. So, bot d top minus top d bot. Ayan. All over the square of bottom, or bot squared. So, let's substitute. So, see bottom, we have the secant x. Sorry. I do not need to write the parentheses. Bot is the secant times d top, which is ito yun, which is negative cosecant x times cotangent x. Okay? Wait lang ba? Minus top, which is si cosecant x. Sana tama ko rito. Yeah, tama. Cosecant x times, ilagay lang siya sa baba kasi wala akong space. Alright? So, cosecant x times d bot, which is si secant x times tangent x. Ayan. Now, yung huli, which is yung bot squared or square ng bottom, which is square ng secant. So, since wala akong space, I'm just gonna continue writing this formula. Sorry. Writing this formula sa baba. Okay, so copy. Tapos, lagay ko siya dito. Ayan. Now, let's simplify. So, in here, secant x times negative cosecant x times cotangent x. So, we will have negative secant x times cosecant x times cotangent x. Alright, there you go. Minus, eto, sa second term, cosecant x times secant x times tangent x, magiging cosecant x times secant x times tangent x pa rin. Ayan. All over square ng secant x, which is secant squared x. Okay. So, let's simplify pa. So, dito, as you can see, on the on the numerator, basically, we can factor something here. Okay? First term, which is si negative secant x, cosecant x, cotangent x. At saka sa second term, negative cosecant x times secant x times tangent x. Both of them are divisible by negative secant x times cosecant x. At yan yung greatest common factor nila. Okay? Which is negative secant x times cosecant x. Okay? Yan yung greatest common factor nila. So we can substitute. Okay? Pwede rin siyang i-substitute. So if we're going to substitute this one, mali pala ako ng word, mali. So we can factor out. Okay? So magiging negative secant x times cosecant x times quantity cotangent x plus tangent x. Ganito magiging resulta niya. Ayan. All over the square of secant or secant squared x. So, pwede pa tayo mag-simplify pa. So, dito, meron tayong secant x sa taas at secant sa baba. So, pwede natin siyang i-simplify. Ang mangyari dyan, kung mag-simplify nyo, ito, mawawala to. Ito, mababawasan ng isang exponent. Bakit? How is that even possible? Una, try natin ipagdikit si secant x, yung sa taas at saka sa baba. Ipagdikit natin sila. So, magiging negative secant x all over the square of secant. Okay? So, sikopyan natin yung mga ibang term. Times cosecant x times quantity cotangent x plus tangent x. Ayan. Okay. Dito sa second x all over second squared x, it's just like you are applying yung ano yun, yung isa sa mga laws of exponent. Kunwari lang we have x all over x cubed. Kunwari lang. So, both of them have the same base. Okay? So, pwede pa natin tong i-simplify. Okay? So, if in both sides, sa numerator and sa denominator, they have the same base, and meron silang kanyang-kanyang exponent, so magiging x raised to yung exponent ng numerator, which is si 1, so 1, minus exponent ng denominator, 3. So magiging x raised to negative 2. Or magiging 1 all over x squared. Okay? So ganun gagawin natin dito. Okay? Since we have second x sa taas and second sa baba, okay, meron tayong ganyan. So we will apply this rule na exponent. Okay? So ang mangyayari dyan, we will have negative second x. Okay, wait lang. Negative second. Tapos, okay, we will subtract their exponents. Yung exponent sa taas, which is 1, minus yung exponent sa baba, which is naka-square siya, so 2. So, magiging second x raised to 1 minus 2. Okay? Parang ganito lang ginawa natin dito. Okay? So, 1 minus 2, we will have, wait lang, medyo, bakit? Yan. So, we will have negative 1 as a result. So, second x raised to negative 1. Okay? Or, by definition ng reciprocal identity, pwede mo naman siyang gawing positive to, okay, yung exponent niya, by reciprocating it. Okay? Kumbaga, we can change this sign by reciprocating. So therefore, if you're going to reciprocate second x raised to negative 1, magiging ganitong resulta. Magiging 1 all over second x. Ganyan yung magiging resulta niya. Okay? So that's it. So times cosecant x times quantity cotangent x plus tangent x. I hope naiintindihan niyo kung anong ginawa ko rito ha. Dito sa dito sa secant x. Okay? I think I've already discussed with this type of cases sa mga previous videos. So please watch it. Okay ha? Kasi na-discuss ko to sa mga videos katulad nito. Okay? Anyways, let's proceed. So ito, let's simplify pa. 1 all over secant x times cosecant x. Of course, this would be negative cosecant x all over secant x. So are we done? Okay, tapos na ba tayo? Well, to be fair, yes, tapos na. Pero hindi pa to simplified. Okay, hindi pa to simplified. Okay? So we can still simplify this one. Okay? Now, here's the thing though. Na yun, how can we simplify this one? So first, let's start with this. Si cosecant x at saka si secant x. Ito, si cosecant x all over secant x. This is just the same as cotangent x. Maniniwala ba kayo? So let's prove it. Okay, prove natin na si cosecant x all over secant x ay cotangent x. Okay? So, recall natin, si cosecant x ay 1 all over sin x. All over si secant x, meron tayong 1 all over cosine x. Okay? So, let's reciprocate. So, if you're going to reciprocate this one, magiging ano to? 1 all over sin x times cosine x all over 1. Okay? So, ganito maging resulta niya if you're going to reciprocate this type of fraction. Now, let's multiply together. We will have cosine x all over sine x is equal to cotangent x. Hence, here, cosine x all over sine x, which is the same as cotangent x, is equal to cotangent x. So, it is verified and proven. So, therefore, si cosecant x all over secant x, siya ay magiging negative cotangent x. Okay? So times quantity, cotangent x plus tangent x. Now, what we're going to do is split natin si cotangent x dito sa nakaparenthesis. So let's start first with this one. Negative, we will have negative cotangent squared of x. Ayan. Next, negative cotangent x plus tangent x, magiging negative 1 to. Okay? Why? I think I've already explained this one. Cotangent x times tangent x excuse me, is equal to 1. I have already discussed this one, which I do believe, I think sa last video nito, which is paggamit ng product rule ng product rule sa trigonometric function or sa sum and difference ng given trigonometric function. I've already explained this one. Ang product ng cotangent x at tangent x is equal to 1. So we have this one. Okay? So are we done? Nope, we can still simplify this one. Pwede pa. Both of these terms are divisible by negative 1. At yan yung greatest common factor nila, si negative 1. So pwede itong ilabas si negative 1. So negative 1 times quantity cotangent squared of x plus 1. So negative 1 times quantity cotangent squared x plus 1, magiging negative quantity cotangent squared of x plus 1. Ganyan siya. Okay? Now, pwede na ba to as your final answer? Well, yes, pwede naman. Pero there's one more thing that we can do in order to get our simplified answer. This one, if you're going to recall, cotangent squared of x plus 1 is equal to cosecant squared x. Okay? Kahit na baliktarin mo si 1 at saka si cotangent squared x, yung position nila, it's still the same. Okay? It's still equal to cosecant squared x. Therefore, we can we can substitute this one as cosecant squared of x. So magiging negative times quantity cosecant squared of x. So we have negative cosecant squared of x. Yan yung magiging final sagot niya. O, diba? See? That's it. Actually, guys, to be honest, we can simplify this one. Okay? Pero hindi natin gagamit ng quotient rule kung ganun. Bakit kaya? Try natin siyang i-simplify. Okay, before we proceed to the other example. So, di ba, ano yun? Yung given natin kanina, di ba, derivative ng cosecant x all over secant x. Sabi ko kanina, cosecant x all over secant x is equal to cotangent x. Di ba? Na-prove ko na to eh. Cosecant x all over secant x is equal to cotangent x. So, magiging ano to? The derivative of cotangent x. So, anong derivative ng cotangent x? Recall, ang derivative natin na cotangent x ay negative cosecant squared x. So, yan yung final sagot natin. O, di ba? It's easy. Ayun naman pala eh. Ba't tayo nagpapahirap pa? That's the easiest way to get the to get the answer for this one. So, why do we need to complicate things? Well, it's not that because I wanted to make it complicated. Rather, because sa video na to, we are going to basically apply quotient rule of differentiation. Okay? Kaya, I'm just showing you this one as a simple way to solve, but for the sake of this video, we're going to apply quotient rule of differentiation as much as possible. Okay lang? So, yun yung gagawin natin. Okay? So, anyways, let's now proceed to the next problem. So, let's try this one. The derivative of tangent x all over cotangent x. So, in here, we can now actually use quotient rule of differentiation. So, ang top natin, which is si tangent x. Si bottom natin or bot, which is si cotangent x. Okay? Now, kunin natin yung derivative ng top. Okay? So, derivative ng tangent x, we will have secant squared x. Now, we will get the derivative of bottom or d bot, which is basically derivative ng cotangent x. So, that would be negative cosecant squared x. Now, let's simplify. We will now substitute it in this formula. So, bot d top minus top d bot all over square ng bottom or bot squared. So now let's simplify. Bottom, which is c cotangent x, times d top, which is c secant squared x. Okay? Minus top, which is c tangent x, times d bot, which is c negative cosecant squared x. Okay? So, ayan. Then, all over square ng bottom, which is basically square ng cotangent x. That's it. So, let's now simplify. So, obviously, cotangent x and secant squared x, we can just simply stick them together. So, we will have cotangent x times secant squared x. Okay. The next, negative tangent x times negative cosecant squared x. So, we will have positive tangent x times cosecant squared x. All right, all over the square of cotangent x or cotangent squared of x. That's it. So, can we still simplify this one? The answer is yeah. Pwede pa naman natin itong i-simplify. Remember, cotangent x is cosine x all over sine x, di ba? So, we can rewrite it here. Cosine x all over sine x. Okay? And 1 all over secant x, secant x is the same as 1 all over cosine x, right? Kung naalala nyo. Pero, since naka-square si secant, so magiging 1 all over cosine squared of x. Plus tangent x, remember that tangent x is equal to sine x all over cosine x. So we will have sine x all over cosine x. And lastly, cosecant x is the same as 1 all over sine x. So, ang square ng cosecant x is 1 all over square ng sine x. There we go. Then, let's copy yung baba, si cotangent squared of x. Or actually, to be honest, you can convert cotangent squared of x as cosine squared of x all over sine squared x, if you like. Okay? But for simplicity, wag na lang. Okay, para sa akin. But, you know what? It would be better kung isulat ko na lang siya ganyan, no? So, I'm gonna rewrite cotangent squared of x as cosine squared of x all over sine squared of x. Yun na lang, para lahat ay patas. Kasi lahat sila naka-cosine and sine function. So, okay. So, in here, ano mangyayari? Masisimplify ko to. Okay? So, sa first term, we have cosine x all over sine x times 1 all over cosine squared x. So, we can cancel out. Kasi si cosine x, meron tayo sa taas. Then si cosine squared x meron tayo sa baba. So sa taas, matatanggal si cosine x. Then sa baba, mabawasan lang natin doon ng isang exponent. Okay? I already explained that to you, yung last example natin, which is yung 'di ba? Secant all over secant squared of x, 'di ba? Kung naalala nyo kanina. So ito, this would be secant x raised to 1 minus 2. Okay? So magiging secant x raised to negative 1. Okay? So the same thing yung ginawa natin dito. Okay? It's the same thing. Okay? So what will happen here is that magkakaroon tayo ng 1 all over cosine x. So this would be 1 all over sine x times 1 all over cosine x. Plus, ito, ganun din gagawin natin dito. The same thing. So ito makakancel. Ito, mabawasan ng exponent ng isa. So, 2 minus 1 is just 1. So, nabawasan. So, we will have 1 all over cosine x times 1 all over sine x. Ganito magiging tsura niya. Okay? All over cosine squared of x all over the square of sine x. So, let's simplify the numerator on the top. So, kapag imumultiply mo sila parehas, magiging 1 all over sine x times cosine x. And the same thing sa taas, magiging 1 all over cosine x times sine x. Okay? Tapos sa denominator, ganun din. We will just copy it. Now, we can simplify yung taas din. As you can see, this is a similar fractions. Kahit na magkaibang positioning nilang dalawa, kasi di ba sa first term, sin x, cosine x. Pero sa second term, we have cosine x, sin x. Kung ba magkaiba sila ng positioning. So, it's still the same. Okay? Similar pa rin sila ng denominator. Magkaparehas lang sila. Despite magkaibang positioning nila. So, we can add them together. So, 1 all over sin x cosine x plus 1 all over cosine x sin x will give you 2 all over, mas maganda kung mauna si sin x na lang, no? 2 all over sin x times cosine x. Then, let's copy the denominator. Now, to simplify things, we will reciprocate. Okay? We will reciprocate this fraction. So, mangyari dyan, we will have 2 all over sin x times cosine x times sin squared x all over cosine squared x. Ganyan mangyayari yan. Okay? So, let's simplify. So, sa baba, matatanggal si sin x. Tapos, sa taas ng sin x, mababawasan lang yan ng isang exponent. Okay? Then, ito, ang resulta niya magiging 2 all over cosine x times sin x all over cosine squared x. So we can still simplify this one. We can multiply them together. So we will have 2 times sin x all over the cube of cosine x. So that will be your final answer. Pwede na to. Or pwede pa natin siyang i-simplify. Okay? So pwede natin siyang ipaghiwalay. Okay? Going back from this one. Okay? So pag nahiwalay natin ito, nahiwalay. Kapag ginamit natin itong expression na to to be particular, we can simplify that one as well. Okay? So una, ilabas ko si 2 dito. Okay, ilabas ko siya, ilayo siya sa gilid. So maging 2 times 1 all over cosine x times sine x all over cosine squared of x. Ang gagawin ko, ipagsama ko si sine x dito sa 1 all over cosine x. So mangyayari dyan, I will have 2 times sine x all over cosine x. Tapos, sa ibang term, which is si cosine squared x, magiging 1 all over cosine squared x lang siya. So ito, we can simplify this one. So, ito, sin x all over cosine x, kung naalala nyo, this is tangent x, di ba? So, magiging 2 times tangent x. And 1 all over cosine x is the same as secant x. Pero, since naka-square si cosine, so we will have secant squared x instead. So, pwede ito as your final answer. So, either this one or this one, both of them are correct. Okay? So, pick which would you prefer. For me, mas prefer ko pa to kasi mas simplified to eh. Alright? So, our last example, we have this one. The derivative of 1 plus sin x all over cosine x. Ayan. So, let's now use Quotient rule of differentiation. So, our top here is basically 1 plus sin x. Then, si bottom or si bot, that would be, sorry, that would be our cosine x. Now, kunin natin yung derivative ng top or derivative ng 1 plus sin x. So, derivative ng 1 ay 0 plus derivative ng sin x ay cosine x. So, 0 plus cosine x, we will have cosine x. That's it. And now, lastly, let's now get the derivative of bottom. So, ang derivative ng bottom ay negative sin x. That's it. Now, let's substitute it in the formula. So, meron tayong bot d top minus top d bot. All over the square ng bottom or bot squared. Okay? Now, let's substitute. Your bottom is basically si cosine x times si d top, which is basically cosine x, minus si top, which is 1 plus sin x, times si d bot, which is basically negative sin x. Yan. All over the square ng bottom, which is square ng cosine x. Now, i-copy ko to kasi we're going to rewrite this one below. Okay, below here. There you go. So now let's simplify. Cosine x times cosine x, we have cosine squared x. Tapos ito, we're going to distribute, wait lang ah. We're going to distribute negative sin x dito sa nakaparenthesis. So minus negative sin x times 1 magiging negative sin x plus negative sin x times sin x magiging negative sin squared x. Ayan. All over the square of cosine x or cosine squared x. There you go. Ah, wait lang. Ayusin ko yung sulat ko. Yun. Then after that, i-distribute ko tong si negative sign dito sa naka-parenthesis. So, ito mangyayari. Cosine squared x plus sin x plus sin squared x. All over cosine squared x. Ayan. So, mangyayari dyan is that, una, ipagsama ko si sin squared x at saka si cosine squared x. Ipagsama ko sila. So, magiging cosine squared x plus sin squared x plus sin x. Sorry, sin x. Ayan. All over cosine squared x. So remember, si cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1 siya, di ba? Kung naalala nyo. Okay, if you recall, kanina na sinulat ko, cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1, di ba? So magiging 1 plus sine x na lang siya. Ayan. All over cosine squared x. So, put ito as your final answer. Or, we can simplify this one. So, ang gagawin ko rito is I can decompose these whole fractions into two fractions. Okay? So, ito, I can have 1 all over cosine squared x plus sine x all over cosine squared x. Okay? Then, ito, dito sa second term, pwede kong ipaghiwalay yung factors ng cosine squared x. Pwede yan. So what will happen here? Wait lang ah. So what will happen here is kapag ipinaghiwalay ko yung factors ng cosine squared x, magiging ano to? Sin x all over cosine x times cosine x. And after that, gusto ko tong dalawa ipaghiwalay into two fractions. So mangyari dyan, I will have 1 all over cosine squared x plus sin x all over cosine x times 1 all over cosine x. Ayan yung magiging itsura niya. Okay? So, I'm gonna continuously write it here na lang para may space ako rito. Okay. So, remember, si second x is the same as 1 all over cosine x. Naalala niyo yun, di ba? So, that means I can substitute I can substitute 1 all over cosine x as second x. So, dito sa first term, meron tayong 1 all over cosine squared of x. So, therefore, meron akong second squared of x. Okay? Plus, here meron tayong sine all over cosine x. Remember that sine all over cosine x is the same as tangent x. So we will have tangent x times, meron tayong 1 all over cosine x, which is the same as secant x. Ayan na yan. That's it. Now, we can simplify this pa. Secant squared x plus tangent x times secant x, both of them are divisible by secant x. At yan yung greatest common factor nilang dalawa, si secant x. So therefore, we will have secant x times quantity secant x plus tangent x. Ganito maging resulta niya. And that will be our final answer. Kung i-simplify nyo to, you're going to convert secant x and tangent x into sine or cosine function. Tapos, pag na-simplify mo siya ulit, ganito magiging kalabasan niya. Okay, ganito magiging kalabasan niya. So for me, I would rather pick this one because this one is simple. Okay, much simple pa to. So anyways, yun lang naman guys. Okay? So next video natin is we will have a practice. Okay? So di ba meron tayong, what do you call this one? Meron tayong, tawag nito, sum and difference, product rule, quotient rule, di ba? Eh what if ipagsama natin kaya lahat sila? You know, kasi ito parang meron tayong basic idea on how would you use product rule, quotient rule, and sum and difference, di ba? Ngayon, i-apply natin yan sa mga medyo challenging na problem. Okay? So, yun lang naman guys, and I hope na at least may matutunan naman kayo rito sa video na to. Thank you, and see you.